Well, good evening, everybody. The time for our second session has arrived. I hope you enjoyed dinner. I hope you got through the line. I'm glad for the wonderful weather. So let's gather ourselves back together so that we can enjoy learning more about our Synod this evening and celebrating some wonderful anniversaries and people in our Synod. That's really going to be what we get a chance to do tonight. And there are many anniversaries that we want to recognize because we didn't get a chance to do that in the last few years as we have missed the opportunity to be together. So we're going to do it right tonight. So it's going to be fun, and you're going to learn a lot about folks in our Synod, and I'm looking forward to that. Thank you for finding your spot. Call everybody in from the hallways and byways.
Yes, yeah. Bob, can I stick them under here?
Yep.
Let me just line them up there.
Sure.
So there.
I want to see the engraving.
All right. Looks like everybody is pretty much back. So I'll call your attention and we will re-enter our assembly session and begin session number 2. We're going to start with a video that gives the report of the gathering of the ministerium.
Did you know that every year the pastors and deacons and interns of the Virginia Synod gather together for worship, for fellowship, and professional development? We call this annual event the Gathering of the Ministerium. The gathering is a valuable time for your faith leaders to connect with colleagues, to strengthen and renew their own faith, and to stretch their understanding of ministry. And in return, we hope they come back to you, to your ministry setting, to your church, with new ideas and practical tools for serving alongside you, as well as feeling the support and the strength of the network of faith leaders within the Virginia Synod. This year, the gathering will take place October 2nd through October 4th at Virginia Beach. Participants may register to attend in person at Virginia Beach or online. We will gather around the theme, Leading with Hope in a Season of Change. I'm inviting you to encourage your faith leader to register to attend the 2023 Gathering of the Ministerium. Registration is live and on the Synod website. Go ahead, right now, ask your faith leader, are you registered to attend the Gathering of the Ministerium? Thanks for your care and for your support of the faith leaders in our Synod.
Wonderful. All right, what was the answer? Okay, there we go. Very good. Very good. It's going to be a good event. It truly is. One of the longest standing ministries in our synod that has a wonderful history throughout is campus ministry. So we're going to take a minute and see another video.
Hello, I'm Pastor Brian Katz, coordinator for the Virginia Lutheran Campus Ministry Network and a professor at Virginia Tech. Our network was developed through an ELCA grant with partnership congregations in both the Virginia Synod and Metro DC Synod. Our purpose is to connect Lutheran college students with each other and to campus ministries or congregations around Virginia. We are also committed to the development of faith formation and leadership opportunities for students across the state. Here are some compelling comments made from people who have been impacted by campus ministry.
Campus ministry was a really important part of my 4 years of college because it gave me a safe place to grow in my faith, but also a place to ask questions and learn about different perspectives from people across the world.
Why should you join campus ministry? They have provided me this amazing support system right from day one.
Coming from a very tiny town where there were no formation groups for younger people in faith to a big city like Harrisonburg, I was honestly very terrified. I thought it was going to be a major challenge for me getting used to the big city feel of Harrisonburg. But this transition and my 5 years at the university were made much easier because of the Lutheran campus ministry here at Muhlenberg. And I knew whenever I was stressed or homesick, there is a community of college students like me and a congregation I could go to for advice or just to hang out with.
To me, campus ministry was my home away from home, and I counted on my campus ministry family each week to help me get through the semester.
Those experiences were really beneficial because they showed me how I can serve in future leadership positions in other congregations.
Lutheran ministry is important to me because it found me at a time at Tech when I didn't have a church community, which was really, really important. I joined my junior year, and I guess when I started in college, I had joined a campus ministry that was super well known and really good at reaching out to students that came to the dorm. I quickly learned that I wasn't welcomed by everyone. I wasn't welcomed unconditionally by everyone. There's so many people on the Tech campus and colleges everywhere that are struggling with the same types of things that I was and still do. And so to have a community that actually talks about that and doesn't ignore it and label it as voodoo is so important.
I challenge and welcome all of y'all to search out campus ministry if you are attending college, or look for campus ministry to donate and support, because it's an essential part of young adults in their faith formation.
So what can you do? You can support your local campus ministry. You can become a congregational partner if a college near you does not have an existing campus ministry. And you can reach out and let us know if you are a college student or know a college student who is seeking a campus ministry community. So if you're graduating high school or know someone who is, please have them reach out to us. You can visit our form on a website at http://tiny.cc/VA Lutheran student to provide contact information, and we will be sure to connect students with campus ministries. You can also reach out to me, contact me anytime at pastorbrian@vt.edu, and I am happy to answer any questions you might have. May God's peace be with you wherever you are.
Wonderful, wonderful. How many of you have been involved with campus ministry in one way or another? Yeah, that's most of the room. That's powerful. That's truly powerful in terms of the way in which the church extends itself beyond the doors of congregations and into the lives of folks who are out and growing in one's faith. So congratulations and thank you for those who are involved in campus ministry. Now it's my pleasure to introduce a member of our Synod Council, Carlton Hardy, who will present and give us a little bit of background on the Serving Boldly Awards, and we'll have a video that'll accompany that, but he'll say more about that in just a minute. Carlton, thank you.
As facilitator of this Serving Boldly Award for the past 3 years, and on behalf of the Virginia Synod, we are thrilled to recognize our Serving Boldly Award recipients for 2023. Several of the recipients are here this evening to receive their award, and the award is a glass flame in Luther red and inscribed that others may follow your light. I invite you to watch the following video on the recipients, and if you're like me, you're going to be exhausted when it's finished. These are busy people, and as the video plays, I invite the recipients who are here or their representative to come to the stage.
The Virginia Synod Council is proud to present the 2023 Serving Boldly Awards, which are given to lay leaders who embody and demonstrate a commitment to the gospel of Jesus Christ in their congregation or in the community. Nominations were received from Virginia Synod congregations around Virginia, and the Synod is pleased to recognize the 2023 recipients of the award. Keisha Johnson is the Executive Director of God's Storehouse, which started as a soup kitchen and has evolved into so much more. Keisha took over as Executive Director in 2016 after serving for several years as a volunteer. Keisha is not a member of Good Shepherd Galax, but is an active and involved member of her own church, Christ Chapel in Galax. She's a leader in the community and has involved many churches, including Good Shepherd, in the ministry of God's Storehouse. Since 2016, God's Storehouse has served over 500,000 meals. A meal delivery system provides hot meals twice a week to the elderly and disabled. God's Storehouse provides monthly food boxes to economically disadvantaged people. In 2018, God's Storehouse started a recovery support group whose purpose is to help people with hurts, habits, and hang-ups. Hope Dealers is a group of people in recovery committed to making their community stronger and safer. Miss Claire's House is a women's recovery house located in Grayson County, Virginia, with a mission to help women regain independence. The Adult and Child Education and Literacy Program provides outreach to those families in need of parenting classes, assistance with educational needs of children, adult literacy, GED preparation, and other life skills. God's Storehouse also works with persons released from jail and prison to enable them to transition effectively back into mainstream society. Good Shepherd gives thanks for Keisha's ministry and the way she helps congregations like Good Shepherd engage in ministry in the community. Carol Jones has been a faithful member and servant at Christ Lutheran for many years and has been directly responsible for a number of efforts providing for the community. Carol leads the quilting ministry, which provides warm quilts to those in need in the community and around the world through Lutheran World Relief. She is a member of the evangelism ministry and chairs the outreach ministry, whose coordinated efforts have fed first responders of both local fire and police departments, provided supply bags for the homeless, provided water to local marathoners, and also warm coats to those in need in partnership with another local ministry. Carol was instrumental in forming an English as a second language initiative when she saw the need in partnership with a local non-English speaking congregation. Not to rest on that accomplishment, she was also instrumental in building the Guatemala Project locally, which provided desperately needed support and supplies to families directly impacted by volcanic destruction in Guatemala. Carol also heads the IT communication ministry, ensuring the functionality of the congregation's infrastructure to provide a recently revamped website as well as the tools needed for sustaining digital ministry and other communication needs as well. Carol still makes time to spread joy through the congregation with her participation with the bell choir and assisting whenever and wherever a need arises, always with a smile and a joyful heart. She exemplifies humility and what it is to live in service to the Lord. Robert Perry is a strong leader in the community. He is a member and president of Prince William County Public Schools Education Foundation, known today as Supporting Partnership and Resources for Kids. This program brings community and business partnerships together to provide programs and initiatives for the schools as well as teacher grants. He is the editor of Along the Towpath, a quarterly publication of the Chesapeake and Ohio Canal Association. He is a member and president of the Hamburg Ruhrten Club, Fellowship, Goodwill, and Community Service. He is Connickville election official and serves as the captain of the team. He has served as a voting member of Zion to the Virginia Synod Assembly. As president of Zion's congregation and the Hamburg Ruhrten Club, he was instrumental in establishing scholarships in both organizations. The congregation and community is most proud of the Spring Forward after-school tutoring and enrichment program, which Bob and his wife Jane founded in 2009. In many ways, the Spring Forward program reflects the culmination of their years of love and service in the education and support of children. And we have been blessed to be recipients of this love. Bob exemplifies the church without walls. Diana Tiller Dechtall, St. Stephen, Williamsburg. St. Stephen serves the greater Williamsburg, Yorktown, and James County area. Many of the congregation members are over the age of 60. Diana provides home communion as well as home health checks for the members. Diana's even traveled out of state with members who are ill to help relocate them to senior living and hospice facilities closer to loved ones and family. She is constantly taking parishioners to and from chemo or surgery or doctor's appointments. She organizes first aid and CPR training, as well as blood pressure checks to family members and the community. Diana organizes the church's ministry fair, which enables the congregation to come together to participate and sign up for social ministry projects. She organizes the volunteers and keeps the list of homebound members who would like to receive communion at home. She is currently completing her Stephen ministry training so that she can help and care on a deeper, more spiritual level. She plans, after becoming a Stephen minister, to continue helping and educating others in serving the Lord. Connie Watkins spearheaded the complete transformation of St. Mark's Food Pantry from a one-size-fits-all model to a client choice model. Connie developed a vision of a food pantry at St. Mark's that would operate like a small market where people could come and shop for the food they wanted. Space on the main floor of the church right outside of the nave was identified as being ideal for this new food pantry. Connie was involved in every aspect of the renovation of the new space, from demolition to securing funding through grants and donations, to using every contact she had to get deals on everything. Connie's work also helped the congregation to identify strengths and assets which had been overlooked or underutilized for far too long. Her faith that the resurrected and living Lord would lead this project through to its fruition, regardless of the obstacles encountered, was compelling for everyone involved in it. Connie recognized that a long-time beloved congregational ministry could have a much larger, more profound impact in the community than it was having. She could see that there was more to a hungry person than an empty stomach, and more to meaningful ministry than just filling it. Crucially, she helped the rest of the congregation to see that too. In addition to the 2023 Serving Boldly Award recipients. The Synod also gives thanks for those who were nominated because of their outstanding service in the community. And the Synod gives thanks for the review panel who shared their time and wisdom to assist with the award process.
Call the names and I'll hand them. Here, stand up there and call.
Diana Tiller Dichtel. Keisha Johnson.
That one, that's the one you want. Yeah, because Bob's didn't, pastor didn't come out.
Connie Watkins.
All right, here comes the pastor. It's Katie Gospel on behalf of.
And receiving on behalf of Robert Perry, his pastor.
Can you go stand with them? Keep all of them. Bishop, will you scoot in a little closer? Yep.
I mean, how amazing. How amazing. And you're right, these awards represent all of you who serve in ministry every single day in untold, uncelebrated ways, as well as these wonderful, remarkable examples. Congratulations and thank you. Thanks be to God for you. So, back to those opportunities to recognize anniversaries of ordinations, which we've missed the opportunity to do so for a couple of years at least. So we're going to celebrate that now as we look at a video. All right, all of you had your picture up on that wonderful screen. Stand up. Oh my goodness, that's wonderful. And all of you graduated on the 5-year marks. I mean, that's everyone in the entire Synod, I'm pretty sure. Very, very good. Very good. Proud of you. Let's see. We also wanted to announce that those who are part of that group, after this session is over, as we move into our reception time, are invited to go over and have your photo made by the staff table over there. And also we have certificates ready for you to pick up so that you can proudly hang those certificates on your wall. But rostered ministers are not the only ones who are celebrating anniversaries. We also have congregations that have had anniversaries celebrated, and we want to celebrate those as well. So let's take another look. Okay, all of you who are represented by those congregations on the screen, stand up. Congratulations. There will also be an opportunity for you all as congregation representatives to be photographed over by the staff table as well, so we hope that you'll get an opportunity to take advantage of that chance. Thanks, Parker. Appreciate all the photos. All right. I also want to recognize new congregations. And the first, after many years and lots of different pathways, I mean, this is a wonderful congregational story for our theme this weekend of finding a pathway to celebrate and recognize and keep your sights on Christ. So I want to celebrate the journey that has been made by Living Water Lutheran Church in Kilmarnock, now Weems, organized as a congregation on Sunday, November 20th. The congregation, which shares space with Campbell Presbyterian Church in Weems, gathers for a celebration of worship service and then signed their charter. So we give thanks to God for the faithfulness and dedication of the members and the leadership at Living Water. We have reps here today? There we go, back here. There we go. What a journey. What a wonderful representation. Thank you. So glad. Congratulations. We also want to recognize a new synodically authorized worshiping community, and that is now known as Nineveh in Radford. So that is as a result of word received just this week that a new synodical authorized worshiping community had been approved by the ELCA, and this community will be gathering in Radford. It's a new ministry. It's the beginning, thanks to the faithfulness of the members of Christ Lutheran Church Radford, who gave their building and the congregation's assets to the Virginia Synod to support this new ministry. So we are very deeply grateful for that kind of faithfulness and generosity and vision. Talk about pivoting in order to see a new opportunity in front of yourself and to move toward doing that. And they were bold enough to do that, faithful enough, courageous enough to do just that, serving that community. No question about that meeting the criteria. So for Pastor Libby Pfaff and the leadership team developing this new ministry focused on those who have been pushed to the edges of society, we give thanks to God. Our Pastor Pfaff or anybody else here from that community? There we go. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. Which brings me to another amazing celebration and of a similar nature, and that is bequests that we have received as a synod. The Virginia Synod gives thanks for the generosity of Pastor Tom Warm and his wife Bunny for their legacy gift to help eliminate the educational debt that is accumulated by rostered ministers in the Virginia Synod. Over the last 40 years, the cost of attending seminary has risen so dramatically that many pastors and deacons finish seminary with substantial educational debt, which limits then their possibilities for responding to a call because of their planning and their generosity and their absolute commitment to making life easier for those rostered ministers on the part of the Warms. A gift was received in the amount of $920,000. Incredible. Which will be used to provide yearly educational debt reduction grants to rostered ministers who have served in the Virginia Synod for at least 1 year. Wow, what a wonderful gift. What a wonderful opportunity. Some of us graduated from seminary at a time where you had very little debt at all. I'll bet that's not true for everyone sitting here today. How many of you emerged from seminary with significant debt? Look at the hands raised. Number. So, that's a wonderful opportunity for this synod to make a difference in the life of those rostered ministers, and we are deeply grateful for the incredible vision of the Warms to make that possible. Another bequest came to the Virginia Synod thanks to the generosity of Keith Brown, who was a long-time Synod staff member. How many of you remember Keith? Almost, well, many of us. Yep, very good. In his undesignated bequest of $70,000 to support the ministry of the Virginia Synod. Under the Virginia Synod's undesignated bequest policy, the Synod Council made a determination about how this gift would be best used to support our shared ministry in the Virginia Synod. Legacy gifts like these are a wonderful way to honor a lifetime of faithfulness and to make a meaningful ministry impact on the ministry of the Virginia Synod for years or even decades or generations to come. So if you are interested in learning more about bequests, please talk to Pastor John Wirtz Jr. He has forms for you to fill out. No, in all seriousness, he is well prepared to respond to those questions and inquiries, and I am quite sure that congregations too would be happy to talk with you about the possibilities of leaving a legacy to the congregations that you serve. I will always remember one of the congregation members in a congregation that I served standing up and saying as part of a temple talk, you know, I'm going to leave whatever I've accumulated in my lifetime to my family. And you are part of my family. And I thought, wow, what a wonderful way to think about that. And for Barbara and I, that made a difference. And so part of our legacy giving will be certainly to remember our extended family as well as our blood and immediate family. So thanks be to God for these wonderful folks. All right, time to recognize other folks. And I have the distinct pleasure of recognizing folks who are no longer going to be serving in the offices to which we have elected them in this synod. So Dan Cahill, who is unable to be with us tonight, has served as our treasurer, and I am so grateful for his service to our synod, and we will thank him in a different time. But also to our secretary, Blythe Scott, whose term is also ending, and her service as secretary has come to a conclusion. So, Blythe, come on up.
It's like, the price is right.
It's kind of like...
Oh, you said, come on down.
This is a certificate suitable for framing.
Yes.
That really does, in a very symbolic way, denote our deep appreciation for your service. But that's not all.
Oh, that's not all. Am I getting this? Am I getting that? There's a giant trophy back here. I'm hoping that's not Oh my gosh.
We also have a trophy for her.
Yay! Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Last but certainly not least, someone who has been very, very helpful to me over the years, and honestly, we've had regular telephone conversations and conferences and any number of good times at conferences around the country. It has been a pleasure to serve, and I hope you'll join me in thanking Charles Down Jr. for his service as our Vice President. You also get a certificate.
Thank you.
But that's not all.
Thank you. Ah, ah. Nice.
Now, don't go far because it's going to be your turn next. Honestly, these folks have served so well and are just such great, great partners in ministry, and I am so deeply thankful for them. But there are also members of our Synod Council. Oh, wait a minute, picture op, photo op. You bet, you should be. There are also members of our Synod Council who have ended their terms and are, we want to recognize that fact as well, and I'm going to call on Vice President Downs to do just that. See, I didn't let you rest very long, did I? No.
For those that are worried about finances, that trophy is repurposed. It says something about the Harrisonburg Basketball League on the bottom. And they put duct tape over it and said Vice President. We are fiscally responsible here in the Virginia Synod. The business of a Synod Council doesn't work without amazing volunteers that are willing to step up and come to quarterly meetings and respond to emails about input and Zoom meetings. And we are blessed as a Synod with dedicated volunteers, both lay and rostered. So I just want to recognize a few from Synod Council. Outstanding members of Synod Council, at this time we're going to recognize those whose terms are concluding and are not eligible for another term. Jackie Mims was our youth representative, Daryl Short and Molly Byer. Please stand up. Daryl, Molly. I also want to recognize those folks on Synod Council whose term has expired but are seeking re-election. And it has again been a joy to work with all of these folks, but 4 folks that whose term is expiring but who are up for re-election, and I believe all of them are running for re-election: Pastor Philip Martin, Judy Castile, Pastor Laura Swanson, Carlton Hardy, Pastor Harry Griffith, and and of course Blythe Scott. And Pastor Philip Martin. Sorry if I missed that. If y'all could stand up as well, please, to be recognized. And I apologize, I missed Pastor Monica Weber. So you're going to be recognized by yourself, Pastor Weber, if you could stand up. Hey, stand up. No, I messed up. You got to stand. There we go. Apologies, Pastor Weber. Challenge when you have 2 Pastor Webers on Synod Council, and so that's been a lot of fun. So I apologize for that. At this time, I'd like to call on Daryl Short, our chair of our Committee of Reference and Council, to present a resolution on the Bishop Emeritus.
Good evening. The Committee on Reference and Council presents the following recommendation. Whereas the Reverend Robert F. Humphrey has served faithfully as Bishop of the Virginia Synod of the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America from 2017 to 2023, and whereas while serving as Bishop of the Virginia Synod, he has faithfully provided pastoral care and leadership for this Synod, its congregations, its ordained ministers, both in times of challenge and in times of celebration. And whereas he has exercised leadership for this Synod by modeling faithful, bold, serving ministry, especially during pandemic. And whereas Bishop Humphrey has led the Synod and congregations in engaging in conversations on racial justice and inclusion. And whereas he has trusted and empowered those serving within the life of the Synod to lead with creative imagination for the future mission of the Church. And whereas the people of the congregations of the Virginia Synod will continue to benefit from his witness, vision, and leadership. Therefore, be it resolved that the Virginia Synod at this assembly gives thanks to God for the ministry of Reverend Robert F. Humphrey and bestows on him the honorary title of Bishop Emeritus for the Virginia Synod, Evangelical Lutheran Church in America. The committee so moves.
Thank you, Daryl. This comes as a motion from a committee and does not require a second or discussion. We're ready to vote on the resolution on Bishop Emeritus, and we will do that by voice vote. All those in favor, please resoundingly say aye. The resolution passes. Bishop Humphrey. Thank you, Daryl. So we come to the point of the assembly where we begin the recognition of Bishop Humphrey and his work in the Virginia Synod. Deacon Sue Rothmeyers words were beautiful and encapsulated Bishop Humphrey and his spirit and devotion to our synod. I am challenged to follow Deacon Rothmeyer in those words, but I will try my best. One of the privileges, and it's a great privilege of being the vice president, is you get to work very closely with the bishop of the synod. You help the bishop set policy, talk about long-range planning, work on goals, and generally help the bishop as needed with day-to-day matters that may come up in the life of the synod. Bishop Humphrey and I, in fact, had a regularly scheduled meeting by phone once a month throughout his time as bishop, and often during crazy times like COVID was once a week. And those are moments where you can really learn about what leadership looks like and how someone leads. And before, as we talk about Bishop Humphrey's amazing career, I want to give just a little bit of background about Bishop Humphrey. He earned his bachelor's degree from the University of Richmond, a Master of Divinity from Lutheran Theological Southern Seminary, and his service to the Virginia Synod spanned 42 years. He served as a pastor at Zion Evangelical Lutheran Church in Waynesboro, Grace Evangelical Lutheran Church in Waynesboro, and Muhlenberg Lutheran Church in Harrisonburg. And then he was elected bishop in 2017 of the Virginia Synod. You've heard this before, but when Bishop Humphrey started his term in 2007, he had a focus of being a bridge to assist the Virginia Synod in reaching beyond its banks and embrace a changing world and be that bridge from the past to the future. In his work, Bishop Humphrey extolled us as members of the body of Christ to be faithful, bold, and serving as we charted a course for the Synod to do as the Bible teaches us, to do justice, to love kindness, and walk humbly with our God, to comfort other people who are in every kind of trouble with the same comfort that we ourselves receive from God. 2 Corinthians. To give food to those who are hungry and drink to those who are thirsty, to welcome those who are strangers, to clothe those who are naked, to care for those who are sick, and to visit those who are imprisoned. Matthew. To speak out on behalf of the voiceless and for the rights of all who are vulnerable, to defend the needy and the poor. Proverbs. To love God and to love our neighbor. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Bishop Humphrey has been setting the standard for us as members of the body of Christ to be faithful, bold, and serving, and that mission continues today. But that mission and the work of the Synod were tested in ways never before during Bishop Humphrey's term. In the words of the famous boxer, Mike Tyson, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. And boy, did we get punched in the face. We got a global pandemic and the consequences of physical, social, and mental health issues that arose from isolation and separation. We faced a national reckoning with racism and its impact on our synod and its congregations, communities, and members. Top it all off, we had record inflation that had not been seen in decades that put a strain on finances and financial well-being for our congregations, rostered leaders, and members. And it was as Bishop Humphrey encountered these never-before-seen challenges, I often marveled at his leadership. As I reflect on this time, Bishop Humphrey's leadership embodied the Hebrew proverb that sometimes it's better to be wise than to be right. Because being wise means doing the optimal thing, what leads to the best outcome, while being right means doing something because it proves that you're correct or because you're entitled to do it. Bishop Humphrey understood that the advantage of being wise in those situations, that it leads an organization to the best outcome. It allows for deliberation, forces leaders to listen, and have thoughtful consideration of others' advice. Bishop Humphrey embodied that spirit. He understood and always prioritized an organization that listened over an organization that only speaks. Now, even in the best of times, the work of the bishop is demanding. It can be joyful, stressful, and exhausting, all in one phone call. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that the burden of this call is often shared with those closest to the bishop. Bishop Humphrey has been blessed to have the unwavering support of his lovely wife, Barbara, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to recognize and thank Barbara for all she's done and sacrificed for the Synod. Thank you, Barbara. When I first met Bishop Humphrey after his election in 2017, he introduced himself to me as Bob. I said to him, while I was vice president and he was bishop, that I would only refer to him as Bishop Humphrey. I told him that his position in office was a post that required gravitas, that there was seriousness and dignity in the role. And after spending the last 6 years together and getting to work closely with him, my view hasn't changed. However, as I call him to the stage now to be recognized and honored for his role as Bishop of Virginia Synod, I've added another term that I'd like to identify you as, and that's my friend. So attendees of the Virginia Assembly, as I invite Bishop Humphrey to the stage, please join me in recognizing and thanking my friend, Bishop Robert Humphrey, for his 6 years of service to the Virginia Synod.
Wow. What can I say? Luckily, I brought a few notes. You all are amazing. It's been fun to be a part of this assembly in so many ways, and we're just getting started. And part of that fun has been Deacon Rothmeyer's observation of us as just a remarkable synod, well prepared, well organized, well ready to meet the challenges that lie ahead. And that's a huge compliment to all of us. But first and foremost, and those of you who know her know that this is true, I could not have done anything good, or at least not nearly as good, without the remarkable love, wisdom, and constant support, as Charles so wonderfully and eloquently pointed out, of my beloved spouse of 46 years, Barbara. All right, now let me be quick to say that sometimes that laser-focused support and much-needed love came in the form of thoughtful critique. Oh my. You know, care that comes from knowing when it is better not to do something, not to say something, not to react. And she has been just such an incredible anchor and incredible partner throughout our life together. So to her, thank you, Barbara. I love you. But I also need to give a shout out to our truly astonishing daughter, Jill. As a nurse in New York City with a master's degree in public health, she has been an invaluable resource to me and to our synod during the COVID-19 pandemic. But most of all, she has been a wise listener and helped me stay centered on what is true and important so many times. I love you, Jill, Johann, Elias, and Maria. Johann's her spouse, Elias and Maria, our grandchildren. And one of the biggest supporters throughout my life has been my much younger and far wiser sister, Laura, and her incomparable daughters, Kaylee and Allison. I love you guys. Our Synod Council, and especially our Vice President, my friend Charles, our Secretary Blythe, our Treasurer Dan have walked with me day in and day out and offered incredible support and wise counsel. You see what I did there? They're lawyers. Seriously, our Synod Council, our Council of Deans, in fact, let me go through that, okay? Our council, Synod Council, stand up. Deans, stand up. Ministerium team, stand up. Bishops Jim and Richard, stand up. These dear folks have been the folks who have, in so many ways, throughout so many years, offered incredible wisdom and support and guidance and advice, and sometimes necessary checks and balances when they were needed. And I am deeply grateful to all of you, as you should be as well. My colleagues in the Conference of Bishops in the ELCA, and especially those in Region 9, I'm glad to report to you that the other bishops' election happening in Region 9 in the Florida Bahamas Synod has resulted in a first ballot re-election of Pastor Pedro Suarez. They are simply outstanding colleagues, and that is so clearly visible, and I hope you've gotten a taste of that with our Secretary, Sue Rothmeyer, our presiding bishop, Eaton, and so many other colleagues have been just an incredible gift to me over these years. And there are so many others unnamed, and I appreciate every single one of you. Colleagues throughout this synod, lay and rostered, who have supported me and incredibly gifted me over and over and over again. What I'm trying to say here is, there's no chance that I could do this on my own. We are church together. And that's the way it works. And that's the way it works best. And that's the way I know we will continue to strive and move forward into a new day for new challenges and new leadership. But it won't change the fact that we are still and always will be the church of Jesus Christ, with good news to share in the world. And last but by no means least, I have been surrounded by a stunningly talented and devoted team of colleagues in the office of the bishop. And again, whatever good has been done by the Holy Spirit through us has mostly, and I'm not kidding here, it's not hyperbole, has mostly been channeled through them. They've also been steadfast supporters. And absolutely none of them are shy about sharing their, well, let's say, differing points of view. And I can honestly say that I and this church have benefited greatly from their commitment and service to Jesus. This church, God's people. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Kelly, Rebecca, John, Dave, Lene, Tammy, Colleen, Liz, Skip, Richard, and then this summer, Lily. Will you please come up? Just simply come up. If you're part of the Synod staff of the Office of the Bishop, we'll get a chance to do this again, but for now, I just want to see you. Help me thank these folks. Skip is on his way. Rebecca's not able to be with us tonight, and we're sorry for that. She's recovering from an illness, but she'll be back soon, I'm sure. These folks have been so amazing to me throughout these 6 years, most of them, and I really do appreciate you so, so much.
Which ones? The lay down.
All right. This is exactly what happens over and over again. They will ask me where I put the comma. Right? So have they been amazing most of the time? Or have they served on staff most of the time? Well, let me clarify, as I often need to do. They have been amazing all of the time, and they have served on staff at least some of the time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, well, that's enough from me. Deep, deep gratitude to each and every one of you for the incredible honor of the bestowing of the title Bishop Emeritus that will be enjoyed throughout the rest of my life. And I appreciate more than I can tell you the journey that we've taken together in these 6 years. So, there we go.
See, this is what happens when you surprise people. So now I'm going to invite the staff back up to the stage. We would like Bishop Humphrey, the staff, as I call the staff back to the stage. This is supposed to be much more dramatic. They weren't going to be here. We're going to surprise with the whole staff, so I'm sorry. But
There's a reason we were all close when you called us.
yes. So now the staff will present you with a gift that honors and recognizes your time and your work as bishop for the Virginia Synod. So, Pastor Wirtz, if you could present the gift.
All right. Okay. We're going to get you to go ahead and open it so we can talk about what it is.
Are y'all save paper and ribbons for later? Tear it open.
It's fragile.
Ah, okay. Oh, wow.
Bishop, we want to say thank you to Janet and Jean Gomez, who created this beautiful work of art for you as a token of the Synod's appreciation for your ministry.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Thank you so much.
You can put the bow in your hand.
My mother, God rest her soul, would have been so upset had I thrown away a ribbon, so we're going to hold on to it. We absolutely have the joy and to extend this recognition and honoring of Bishop Humphrey now out to the Luther Plaza outdoors and inside. We are going to have a reception honoring Bishop Humphrey. And it will proceed right now as we close business. I do want to recognize the Mission Investment Fund. MIF has sponsored this reception for us. That is a wonderful gift to us as a synod and a wonderful gift to Bishop and Humphrey and his work, so I'd like to thank them. At this time, I will close today's, Oh, sure. Sorry. A reminder, don't lose your voting machine. Take it home, but please bring it back. Make sure it's turned off, because if you leave it turned on, it'll run out of battery, and we'll get sideways tomorrow. Jody, any announcements? Okay. So thank you all. That's a lot. Okay, so I'm just saying now I'm going to mess it up. Okay. There will be food available at this MIF-sponsored reception for Bishop Humphrey. There will be utensils on the far, so they'll be on the far wall, so you won't see them when you come in. And so we'll have 2 lines for food, so use both lines for food, and enjoy yourself and have a wonderful time. And today's business is closed. Thank you all so much.